now, a special presentation from Eyewitness News. Live coverage of the 2020 State of the State Address.
And good evening, I'm Mike Montecalvo.
And I'm Shannon Heggie. Governor Gina Raimondo expected to begin delivering her annual State of the State address any minute. And we have a team of reporters and analysts standing by to break it all down, including Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming. Nice to have you here, Joe.
Thank you. And in addition to the governor's speech, we'll also be bringing you Republican Response Live right here on WPRI 12 and on WPRI.com. And when the coverage ends on TV, we'll continue it online.
So we have a live look at the Rhode Island State House right now. And Joe, as we talk about kind of what we're looking at tonight, what's the governor's goal in her speech tonight?
Well, I think her goal is first to give an upbeat image of the state of Rhode Island. She wants to talk about what she's accomplished in the past 5 years. The goal is going to be to give proposals that the General Assembly will pass this year. She had a lot of defeats last year in the General Assembly. She needs success this year. I think her two main factors are going to be education and the economy. Those will be the two things she'll stress tonight, I believe.
And we can see the governor's family coming in right now. Her husband, First Gentleman Andy Moffett. So we're not going to get details on policy here. We're probably going to hear that, what, over the next 6 months?
Over the next 6 months or so, I think she's going to give you her big ideas tonight, what she wants to accomplish. I don't think there'll be a lot of details on what she talks about tonight. She's going to give the ideas. She'll have legislation submitted over the next month or so, and she'll have to talk about getting these passed in the General Assembly. She has to work with the General Assembly. They're all Democrats, basically, so she has to work with her own party to get this accomplished.
And Treasurer Seth Magaziner walking in right now. What about from the Republican side of things as they try to battle back with their response?
I think the Republicans will give a response tonight, will lay out their view of the state of Rhode Island, how they would move Rhode Island forward. The problem the Republicans have is there's very few of them in the General Assembly. And as a result, their input is going to be really not listened to very much by the Democrats because they don't have really anybody to put votes in there to help them. So I think their input's going to be very limited, but they're going to give a very different picture of the state of Rhode Island in a different way on how to improve it, I believe.
She sat down with Eyewitness News reporter Kim Colooney at the end of the year, and one of her accomplishments she talked about was the city of Pawtucket and revitalizing that. Right. We're going to hear a lot more about that and how she's energized the business community.
I think she'll talk about that somewhat because I think people believe losing the Pawtucket Red Sox has hurt the state of Rhode Island. And in turn, she's going to talk about what has happened in the city of Pawtucket now with the new soccer stadium going in there. She's going to show she hasn't given up on that. Things that she's done in the Blackstone Valley region to really help that whole section in the last year or so.
What about housing? I feel like we've heard a lot about that this year.
I think we're going to hear a lot about housing in the speech tonight. I think she's going to talk about how she has ways to bring housing and affordable housing in the state of Rhode Island to help a lot more people own homes in the state. How much detail she gives tonight, I'm not really sure.
All right, and you're seeing live pictures right here. That's the Senate President, Dominic Ruggiero, and off to the side is House Speaker Nick Mattiello, as we're waiting Governor Gina Raimondo to come in to deliver her speech. She's also talking about universal pre-Ks. You can see the governor right there. Does she have a shot at that?
I think that she does have a shot at it. The big question is going to be how much is it going to cost and where will the money come from? We have a $200 million deficit already. The question is where can she raise this money without raising taxes? I think if the money's there, I think the General Assembly really would like to do the pre-K. The question is money.
And there must be things left that she is just determined to get done now.
Well, I think there's things she wants to get done. For example, gun control. I really think she wants to have strict gun control laws in the state of Rhode Island. That's going to be very difficult with the General Assembly leadership. Both of them are very pro-NRA. I think Speaker Mattiello has already thrown out a few things that he would be acceptable towards. I think those things may go through. Some of the things like military-style assault weapons, that's going to be very tough.
You can see her shaking hands, giving hugs and kisses right here. But her relationship, Joe, with the General Assembly, strained?
It has been strained. I think on Newsmaker she made the comment about her $600,000 possibly, using some of that money to help people get elected to the General Assembly next time that supports her programs. That did not go over well with the General Assembly. The leadership and members, they feel it's a threat to them. So I think she has to really do a lot of work over the next 2 months to try to mend these fences with the General Assembly and both come up with common ground.
Yeah, what goes into mending, though, at this point?
Well, it's a little bit of give and take. Yeah. You have to sit down, see what you can work out, find that common ground. Like she may not get the assault weapons on the gun control, but the stuff the Speaker's talking about, it will give her a small victory at least. The economic development with the jobs bill she lost last year, maybe she could work with the General Assembly to get that. The Speaker gets to keep his car tax things. So, I mean, these are the types of things that try to go back and forth and give and take over the next few months.
Well, Blake Filippi has said that he's not in favor of keeping that car tax in, so that's going to be interesting.
Well, it might be interesting, but I think the governor's going to support it. I think the Speaker, there's no way the Speaker's going to eliminate that or extend it more years than it is. This is the 4th year coming up. It's a big thing for the Speaker. He's not going to let this die.
I feel like a lot of people are waiting on it, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, we are waiting for the governor to get up. She's going to be introduced now by Senate President Dominic Ruggerio for her State of the State address.
It is my privilege and honor to introduce, for the purposes of addressing the joint session, Her Excellency, the Governor of the State of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, Gina M. Raimondo.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you and good evening. Thank you and good evening. And good evening, Rhode Island. Mr. Speaker, Senate President, members of the House and Senate, members of the Judiciary, to my cabinet, my wonderful family, thank you for being here with me tonight, and my fellow Rhode Islanders. Thank you for trusting me to deliver results for our great state. And tonight I stand before all of you filled with optimism for our future. You know, in the past few years, we've worked hard together to dig our way out of a deep economic hole. And now we're preparing Rhode Islanders for success in a fast-changing economy. Right now, in Rhode Island, we have more than 500,000 jobs in our state. That is more jobs than we have ever had at any time in our state's history. Our unemployment is the lowest it has been in 3 decades. Now, I want you to think about that, because that means that our economy is as strong today as it's been in a generation. So what's going on? Because we know it hasn't always been that way. Actually, just a few years ago, it wasn't that way. In fact, our neighboring states had strong economies, but we didn't. We were stuck. So what's different? What's changed? What's changed is that we've put aside the old way of doing business, and we're working together like never before to tackle our biggest challenges. And because of that, because we've come together to collaborate and embrace change, my fellow Rhode Islanders, the state of our state is strong. And now the work we have to do, now what we have to do is make sure that momentum lasts. Make sure this strong economic momentum lasts into the future. And that means we need to stick with what's working, because some things are working, like investing in job training and education, like guaranteeing affordable quality health care for all Rhode Islanders. And it also means we have to embrace innovation in all that we do, from the jobs that we're bringing here to the way we run government. We're changing lives, and we're making Rhode Island competitive in a fast-changing economy. Our new approach, working together, is a proven success. A few years ago, in the midst of real setbacks, which we all know about, we decided to deepen our commitment to the Blackstone Valley. And it's beginning to pay off. A few months ago, we cut the ribbon on a new manufacturing training facility at Davies High School in Lincoln. And we're finally building the Pawtucket Central Falls train station. And a few weeks ago, we announced the biggest economic development project ever in the history of Pawtucket. It's a project that's going to bring a professional soccer team and a new stadium, thousands of jobs, and revitalize downtown Pawtucket. For years, the land that we made available when we moved 195 just sat there as a vacant lot. Today, on that land, we have a vibrant innovation center, a physical symbol of our economic future. We've made it easier to do business in Rhode Island, cutting thousands of pages of regulations and providing over 120 loans to small businesses. And over half of those loans are to women and minority-owned businesses. That small business loan fund didn't even exist when I became governor. Working together in the past few years, we've added thousands of jobs at our Quonset Business Park. Electric Boat just keeps on growing and hiring Rhode Islanders. In the past few years, more than 24 companies have moved to Quonset or expanded in Quonset. So now, Quonset's bursting at the seams. Rhode Island needs more new available industrial sites. Tonight, I'm announcing a bond to develop new industrial sites all across Rhode Island. Quonset is a proven success, and it's time to do more of it and put Rhode Islanders to work in the process. Importantly, together, we've made all this progress while cutting taxes every year. So let's continue on that path. And once again, this year, let's give every single Rhode Islander a cut in their car tax. And let's also cut taxes for small businesses. You know, for 25 years, small businesses in this state never saw any relief in their unemployment insurance taxes. Tonight, I'm announcing that for the third time since I've been governor, this year we're going to once again cut unemployment insurance taxes for every business in the state of Rhode Island. Over the past few years, we have completely changed our approach to job training. And we've done that by partnering with businesses. Hundreds of businesses have come to the table to help us retool the way we do job training. And as a result of our new approach, in the past 3 years, we've trained nearly 7,000 Rhode Islanders. 7,000 Rhode Islanders. And also because of this new approach, more than 7 out of 10 people trained get a good job immediately. Now, for some people, This new job training has been life-changing. Take Jen Brown from Warwick. I have something in common with Jen, because Jen, like my dad, started her career in the jewelry manufacturing business until all those jobs went overseas. And then she got another job in a bank until that job was outsourced to India. So also like my dad, she found herself in her mid-50s looking for a new career. And that is a scary place to be. Thanks to our new job training approach, Jen was able to start over. And today, Jennifer has a great job working at Marathane Products in Cranston. And she tells me, that's right, give her a hand. We're proud of you. Jen tells me that her new job is great. She said it's been life-changing. But more than the job, she said the training gave her something else. It gave her confidence and hope and optimism that she never thought she'd have again. Thank you for being with us tonight. We are so proud of you, and we hope everybody enjoys success like you are. So not surprisingly, because of the success of this new approach, Rhode Island businesses are calling on us to expand it and sustain it into the future. They tell us they need it in order to find the right talent to grow their businesses. So let's do it. Let's answer the call of these businesses. Tonight I'm proposing we expand the Real Jobs Rhode Island initiative. It has a proven track record of success. And can't we all agree that every Rhode Islander deserves a shot at a good job? Hear from Rhode Islanders all the time about the importance of transportation and infrastructure. Businesses want to grow, and people want to live in communities that are connected. Thanks to Roadworks, we're fixing our roads quicker than we ever have. You know, it used to be that projects would sit on the drawing board for years, like the 610 connector. Now, like the 610 connector, they're finally under construction. In fact, in the last 4 years, we've fixed more than 100 roads and bridges, and right now, all around Rhode Island, we're fixing another 100 roads and bridges. So I ask you, just imagine what Rhode Island would look like if we improved our trains, buses, and public transit in the same way, with the same approach that we've tackled fixing our roads and bridges. Imagine a day when high-speed commuter rail connects Providence to Boston. Imagine electric buses powered by solar panels zipping through dedicated lanes. That's within our grasp right now, not 10, 20, 30 years down the road, right now. It's today. A few years ago, we all came together to change the way we invest in roads and bridges. So now let's take that same proven approach to improve our public transportation and transit for every single Rhode Islander. also invest in our beaches. Like a lot of you, my family's best memories have been created on our state's beaches. Right, guys? So, don't you think it's time we renovated the tired bathrooms and fixed up the pavilions and the concessions? Because I do. I think it's time to make a once-in-a-generation investment in our beautiful beaches. Millions of people flock to our beaches every summer, so let's protect this beauty. It's the beauty that sets our great state apart. And if we really want to ensure Rhode Island's beauty is enjoyed for generations to come, then we need to address climate change with urgency. About 3 years ago, I set an ambitious goal to increase our clean energy tenfold by the end of 2020. And when we announced that, a lot of people said, "Gov, we can't do that." Tonight, I'm proud to tell you that by the end of this year, we're going to exceed that goal. We are the nation's leader in offshore wind production. And in a few years, we'll be producing enough energy from offshore wind to power half of the homes in Rhode Island. So let's go bigger. It's time to aim higher. This week, I'll sign an executive order to make Rhode Island the first state in the country to be 100% powered by renewable energy by the end of this decade. You know, from the day that I was elected governor, from the day I became governor, a lot of people gave me advice. And they warned me. A lot of people gave me the same advice. Stay away from the biggest issues. They're too controversial. It's been tried and failed. People before you tried and it didn't work. But I'll tell you this. Improving our public education for our children cannot wait, and we cannot think small. I'm committed to doing whatever it takes to set public education on a better path. Our students are smart and capable, and our teachers are talented and dedicated. And I've been in classrooms all over this state, and I've seen great work happening. So what we need to do is build on and expand what's working and be honest about what's not working and fix it. Now, we're starting to see some results. Last year, Rhode Island saw improvements in third grade reading scores. And that's a great thing, because every educator will tell you that third grade reading scores are a key indicator for a child's future classroom success. But still, the scores lagged behind Massachusetts. In fact, we've lagged for decades. And we've lagged for decades because for decades our decision-making lacked consistent direction. And too often we just shied away from the tough decisions. Those days are over. We have a moral and economic imperative to our children and the future of this state to do better by these kids. Nowhere is our challenge more obvious than in our capital city. The test scores that came out of Providence last year were a call to action for all of us. And unfortunately, the deeper we dig, the more we find a system in crisis. No consistent curriculum, not enough student learning, brown drinking water coming out of the faucets and bubblers, bats in classrooms. Our teachers and our students are working incredibly hard every day in a system that is broken, has been broken for decades. They deserve to know they're not alone, and frankly, they deserve better. Last year, we took unprecedented action, and the state intervened in Providence. And we've begun the hard work of transforming a system that has failed kids and teachers and families for decades. We're moving to a high-quality curriculum across the district, expanding career education and college-level classes. We're making smarter investments in our buildings so people can feel safe. And we will end the culture of low expectations for these kids. Students, teachers, parents, the community, you're the ones driving this change. And I want to thank every one of you for your engagement. And I also want you to know, we need you to stay at the table the whole way through to make sure we get this right. I also want every Rhode Islander to know that our work in education is absolutely not limited to the city of Providence. We are every bit as focused on improving outcomes for every child in every school district across our state. We're going to apply the lessons learned and make all schools better everywhere. Every single one of us, every single Rhode Islander has a stake in this work. And I'd ask you all tonight to ask yourselves what you can do to support this work. And I'd ask you to do something else, all of us. I'd ask you to challenge yourselves to see beyond the borders of your own community, your own neighborhood, your own city, or your own town. Of course, we all want the best for our own kids. But we all also have a stake in the children in the next town, or all the way across the state. They all deserve a high-quality public education. And frankly, these kids are our future. You may see one of them one day by your bedside as a nurse or a doctor, or as a teacher, or as a police officer, or as a computer programmer, heck, even as a governor. These kids are the future, and we all have a stake to make sure we do right by them. Schools in every community have to do better. And so tonight, I'm announcing an additional $30 million to support students and teachers in every community in our state. In every district across the state, we'll invest in high-quality curriculum, ensure more students have access to advanced classes in high school. We'll invest to support multi-language learners for whom the field is still devastatingly unequal. We'll increase the number of mental health professionals in our schools. The number of mental health professionals in our schools because all children deserve to have their learning needs met. You know, we all know that having a great teacher can change your life. We've all had a great teacher who's changed our lives. So we're going to do more to support our teachers. That means more professional development for our teachers, more and higher quality professional development for our teachers, and more mental health training for our teachers. And we're going to do more to keep science and math teachers in Rhode Island by helping them out with their student loans. A very bright spot in our education system is our public pre-K. As many of you know, Rhode Island is a nationally recognized leader for the quality of our public pre-K, and we should celebrate that. Here's the problem. For too many, it's unaffordable. Parents of young children routinely spend a quarter of their income on childcare. In fact, chances are, if you're the parent of preschool-age kids, you're spending more on their pre-K than you are on your rent or your mortgage payment. Ashley Ortiz just couldn't afford it. She's a working mom. She recently went back to school to become a nurse. And her oldest son didn't get to go to pre-K because it was too expensive. But her two younger kids did get to go. They got to go to fantastic public pre-K classrooms in Woonsocket, and because of it, they're thriving. Ashley's here with us tonight, and we all know how hard it is to be a working mom. You're doing a beautiful job, and we're going to keep fighting for more pre-K like your kids had. We know, in study after study, it has been proven, and we know, and anyone who's a parent knows, that high-quality pre-K works, and it is a good investment, and kids should not have to be lucky or rich in order to get a good start in their educational life. So tonight, I'm proposing a more than 50% increase in the number of high-quality public pre-K classrooms throughout the state of Rhode Island. When we do that, we'll be taking a big step forward toward our goal of universal pre-K for every 4-year-old in our state. Now, in order to do this, we actually need to build more high-quality classrooms. The lack of available space is one of the greatest barriers to our expansion of public pre-K and high-quality childcare. Tonight, I'm calling for a bond to build these spaces for our kids. Massachusetts broke through that barrier for their kids with a similar, very successful program. And I think our kids deserve the same. The truth is, the only way to really give our kids, and all of us, a shot at a bright future, and to give our businesses access to the talent that they need, is to ensure that more Rhode Islanders can continue their education past high school. In fact, every Rhode Islander should be able to continue their education past high school. It's the only way we're going to thrive in this new and fast-changing economy. So a few years ago, we tried something new. We enabled high school graduates to enroll at CCRI tuition-free for 2 years. We did that to make sure that every Rhode Islander could have access to the higher education and job training that they needed to get a good job. At that time, we were one of only a couple states that did it, and now many others have followed our lead. Today, I'm proud to say, the Promise Scholarship is a proven success. CCRI's graduation rate has tripled. And statewide, last year, we hit a record. More students than ever enrolled in college. And in fact, last year, our very own CCRI earned the distinction of Best Two-Year College in America. So that's the good news. But there's a risk. The scholarship is set to expire this year, which means if we don't take action now, this year's high school seniors will be the last class of Promise Scholars. That means if we don't take action, we'll be pulling the rug right out from under all of our other high school students, and we'll be putting an end to a proven success. Economic experts agree the most important thing that we can do to strengthen our economy and make it resilient into the future is to have a more educated workforce. We can't go backwards. Let's make the Promise Scholarship permanent and cement affordable higher education and job training into the very foundation of our economy. You know, we can't talk about taking care of our children without taking into account our most vulnerable. Too many kids in Rhode Island live without a stable, loving home, and many of them live in the shadow of trauma, mental illness, or addiction. They arrive on our doorstep through no fault of their own. And we do what any one of you would do. We take them in and we take care of them. Tonight I'm proposing that we make additional investments to strengthen our child welfare system so that we can meet our obligation to the children in our care. This investment will support our dedicated staff on the front lines. It will allow us to recruit and license more foster families so we can get more kids out of group homes. And it'll make sure that no child remains in limbo a day or a minute more than necessary. And if a child, in certain cases, cannot be reunited with their biological parents, then it's on us to find them a stable, loving family that they can call their own. So tonight I'm also announcing a new initiative to find and support more foster and adoptive homes for these kids. You know, no one needs our love more than these kids. I'm making it my commitment, and I'm asking you to join me. As every parent knows, we also have to protect our kids from the dangers of vaping. Last year, facing a public health crisis, I took immediate action and temporarily banned flavored e-cigarettes. Public health experts agree these dangers are real. Let's make the ban permanent and do the right thing and protect our children. You know, often we say everyone deserves a shot, and that's true, but that means everyone. And in some ways, we're doing that in Rhode Island. We are securing access to health care for most Rhode Islanders. When I became governor, we decided to keep running our own state health exchange instead of giving it to the federal government. Because of that decision and because of a lot of hard work, I'm proud to say that over 97% of Rhode Islanders have access to health care. That's better than almost any state in America. And while the premiums in most states are going up, I'm proud to say that this year, health insurance premiums on our state-run health exchange will be going down. Nobody should have to choose between going to the doctor and buying groceries. Since I've been governor, working together with the legislature, we've raised the minimum wage 3 times. Let's do it again this year and give our hardest working Rhode Islanders the raise that they deserve. While we're at it, at the same time, to make that raise even more impactful, let's expand the Earned Income Tax Credit so hardworking Rhode Islanders can keep more of their hard-earned money in their pocket. No one who works full-time should live in poverty. And it's in our hands to make that difference. By the way, no one should struggle to keep a roof over their head either. And right now in Rhode Island, too many working people do. And by the way, that affects everyone. Lack of housing affects everyone. It affects the young working couple who struggles to be good employees. They can't show up on time every day because their housing isn't stable. It hurts business because they can't hire people who are priced out of the market. It even affects the kid who can't keep her eyes open in class because she slept on a relative's couch the night before. Our housing shortage threatens all of our economic progress. This year, I propose a housing bond and, for the first time ever in Rhode Island, a dedicated funding stream to build more housing. Rhode Island is one of very few states that does not have a dedicated funding stream for housing. Nearly every other state already has it. So let's do it, and let's get to work building more homes in Rhode Island. Protecting our future also means protecting our neighborhoods and our workplaces and our schools from gun violence. We know this is a nationwide crisis, but in the past few weeks, it has hit very close to home in Westerly and in Pawtucket. And I know there are folks here tonight from Westerly and Pawtucket, and we're with you. Even one tragedy with an untraceable homemade firearm is one too many and one that could have been avoided. Loopholes that allow extremely dangerous people to get guns need to be closed. And military-style assault weapons belong in the military, not in our schools, not in our communities, and they should be banned. So this year, I will once again propose a comprehensive package of gun reforms. Stand with me. Let's stand together and do the right thing, pass these reforms, and keep Rhode Island safe. As we tackle these defining, most important issues of our time, we also need reforms that ensure citizens and businesses have confidence in their leaders and in their government. That means it's time to pass the line item veto. Something This is something we know and have known for a long time, that the vast majority of Rhode Islanders support it. Nearly every other state uses line item veto to reduce waste in government spending and corruption, and to ensure that our tax dollars help everybody, not just the well-connected. Let's restore Rhode Islanders' confidence in government, and let's put it on the ballot and let Rhode Islanders have a say. As we sit here tonight, I want you all to imagine yourselves 20 years down the road. Imagine yourselves 20 years down the road. It's a fun thing to do. You'll all still look wonderful. Okay, you have your image? Maybe your kids have grown up. Maybe your kids have grown up. Maybe you've retired. Maybe you've started a new career or bought a house. Maybe you've started your family. You know what I see? I see a Rhode Island where the opportunity for an excellent public education from pre-K through college is guaranteed for everybody. I see a Rhode Island where our public schools are thriving. I see a Rhode Island where our economy is booming because we have an educated workforce. I see high-speed rail and electric buses making it easy to commute within our state and within our region. I see a Rhode Island where young couples, unburdened by student loans, are able to afford their first home and start their lives together. Headlines about gun violence don't fill the news anymore, and everybody has access to high-quality health care. We're on track for that. We are on track to make that vision a reality. It's the path we're on. If we continue to invest in what works. If we continue to have the courage to embrace change. So let's do it. Let's find that courage. Let's stay on that path. Let's make that vision a reality. Let's build a Rhode Island that is strong and resilient and strong for our children for decades to come. That bright future belongs to us. So let's go build it together. Thank you. God bless, and God bless Rhode Island.
And you've been watching live coverage of Governor Gina Raimondo's State of the State address live from the State House. We are awaiting the Republican response from Blake Filippi, the minority leader in the House. We're joined by Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming. Joe, thoughts?
I think she gave a good speech tonight. I think the speech, however, is lacking in specifics on the programs that she wants, but that was expected. I think over the next couple weeks, next month, when the budget comes out in a few days, we'll see more specifics on what she wants to do and how she's going to do it. She talked about a lot of spending. The car tax, that's like $114 million this year. Unemployment insurance tax cut, expanding real job initiative in Rhode Island, renovation of the beaches, $30 million for education funding, the Promise program. Where's this money coming from? We have a $200 million deficit already. We need to find out how she's going to do this.
And every year we go through this where we have her speech, what she wants, and then the budget comes out.
Correct.
What do you expect to be cut or to not come through in that budget?
Well, I'm not really sure, because I mean, she's talking about increasing DCYF funding. You got the Veterans Home with a problem. So I don't know where she's actually going to cut in this budget. I mean, that remains to be seen. Again, they take from other organizations at times to help the budget, those pulls. I mean, we may see more of that this year. But again, she has to come up with more money if she wants to do these programs. Then again, the General Assembly, it's an election year for them. She has no election. They're not going to want to put any new tax increases in. If she tries to put some sales tax increases like she did last year, they shot them down. They may do the exact same thing. If so, her proposals may have to be cut back.
We're seeing these issues all across the country. Climate change, free education.
Right.
It's a national issue.
Yes, it is. And education in Rhode Island is very popular in the sense that people want to see education improve. They see low test scores. But education costs a lot of money. She's talking about $30 million. The question is, where's that $30 million going? Are all city and towns going to equal share, or is it being put in certain areas?
We're being told the Republican response is any minute now. What are you expecting from that, Joe?
I expect to see a different Rhode Island of the Republican response. I think the Republicans are going to see things a little differently than the governor does. I want to see if they agree with anything in their response that the governor has said and see if there's areas they can work together. Remember, the Republicans are just a small group in Rhode Island, so their thoughts really don't have much impact when the General Assembly is like 90% Democrats. So we'll have to see what the Republicans do if they have some areas of agreement.
When do the lawmakers get her budget?
I'm not sure when the budget's. I think they're going to announce it on Thursday of this week. So I think they'll start coming in at that point.
So then you really see the nuts and bolts of what she's talking about.
There'll be a lot of hearings over the next month, in February into March, to see what she wants, and again, how the money's going to come for these, and what are the projections going to be. Remember last year they talked about sports betting is going to raise all this money. It never did. So again, shortfalls. These are things they have to look at very carefully. And you have a speaker who's fairly conservative in the sense of physically conservative. He wants to make sure the money's there before he goes forward.
But also wants to follow through on cutting back that car tax.
There's no question. The car tax is very popular throughout the state of Rhode Island. People are actually seeing themselves saving money. They don't want to lose that.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to hear from Blake Filippi, the representative, said on Newsmakers recently that he's not in favor of cutting that car tax.
Well, he doesn't want. He wants to keep it.
He
does not want to keep it.
Does not want to keep it.
Again, the last time we had this before, Tony Pires instituted the car tax years ago, and if I remember correct, Governor Kucheri took it out of the budget because the money was really tight at that point. I think we have a speaker who was not going to let that happen. However,
all right, let's go to the response.
For 10 minutes, as we address some of the most important issues we face. Ladies and gentlemen, the civil rights challenge of our time is access to a quality education. Rhode Island has two different education systems. If you live in the right zip code or have the means to send your family to private school, they will most likely get a good education and have limitless potential. If you don't live in the right zip code and can't afford private school, your family faces an uncertain future, lacking social mobility. Martin Luther King understood that legal equality isn't enough. There must also be economic opportunity. He said, "What does it profit someone to sit at an integrated lunch counter if they don't have enough money to buy a hamburger?" Our primary civic duty must be to fix our education system, and it must take precedence over any other government programs and any other interest groups. Our children must come first. We have watched the necessary state takeover of the Providence school system with an estimated turnaround time of 5 to 10 years. And there are many other failing schools now eligible for intervention. But a state takeover isn't the cure-all. The state took over the Central Falls School Department over 25 years ago, and it is still one of the worst performing school systems in the state. Indeed, our governor and Secretary of State who live in Providence send their children to private schools, as does our Commissioner of Education. In fact, fewer than half of the school-aged children of elected officials in Providence attend traditional public schools. And we cannot fault them for this. I would do the same. But we can fault them if they oppose these same choices for parents in failing schools who do not have the resources to send their kids elsewhere. We cannot expect these parents to wait 5 to 10 years for state intervention with an uncertain outcome. Frederick Douglass observed that it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. Let us come together now to build strong children and in turn, a strong future for Rhode Island. Here's how. Republicans will empower families in failing schools to send their children to performing schools within or outside their existing district. If another school has space, it will have the option to receive these students, and the money will follow the child. Republicans trust families most to do what is best for their children, rather than being stuck in a failing school with no alternatives. Republicans will also submit legislation to create focused language academies to address the English as second language crisis we faced. Many school districts are inundated with children that cannot speak English, driving up the cost and downgrading the quality of education for all children. State language academies will focus on English proficiency. Once proficient, students will matriculate back to their sending school district, where they can then begin their careers as lifelong learners. We will mitigate the costs for these proposals, such as transportation costs, with a new tax on universities and colleges related to their endowments. Right now, Rhode Island universities and colleges largely do not pay property taxes. For example, Brown University sits on over $1 billion of real estate on the east side of Providence, with an over $4 billion investment portfolio. Yet, it is largely exempt from property taxes that would help to fund the Providence school system. This is intolerable, not just for Providence residents, but for every Rhode Islander that funds the annual $324 million in state aid to Providence and its schools. It is time for our local universities and colleges, with substantial endowments, to share in the cost of educating the next generation of higher education learners. Our college graduates also face a college loan crisis brought on by overpriced tuitions and government-sponsored student loans. While we cannot fix this problem on the state level, we can mitigate its impact on our citizens. And here's how. Republicans have long been opposed to the state's robust corporate welfare programs, handouts of taxpayer money to various special interest groups. We give $20 million a year to the Hollywood movie industry. Our position is this: while we oppose corporate welfare, if our leaders see fit to appropriate it in our annual budgets, our children and neighbors struggling to pay off college loans get the first bite at those monies, with a $1,000 per year tax credit on their student loan payments. Whatever is left over would then be available for the corporate special interests that sought the money in the first place. We also need to make sure that the next generation of Rhode Islanders can find meaningful pursuits right here at home. One of our biggest exports is our children, and it is heartbreaking when Rhode Islanders must move away to find a job. It is no coincidence that Boston is booming, while our tallest building stands empty. This is the result of our hostile business climate. Many times, it does not make sense to invest in Rhode Island unless you can obtain handouts of taxpayer-funded corporate welfare. Not only is it morally wrong to hand out our money to businesses, it further scares away other investment because they do not want to compete against those getting public monies. We must enact intelligent tax policies and regulatory reform that everyone can take advantage of, which will nurture local and out-of-state investment, and it will create the ground-up business development our state needs. We do have a housing crisis in this state, and it is directly related to Rhode Island's failure to attract capital investment. Right now, good, bad, or indifferent, we have laws on the books that allow for-profit developers to bypass local zoning in order to build dense developments, as long as a portion of that includes an affordable component. This is in nearly every town. That's on the books right now. The problem is that people do not want to invest in Rhode Island. If we fix the fundamentals of our economy, the housing crisis will be fixed by private investment responding to the pent-up demand. We do not need more taxpayer money in bonding. We need to nurture private investment. We must also act decisively to stem the tide of our seniors leaving for other states that do not tax their retirement income or their life's work when they die. When seniors depart, they take with them their wealth, spending, business contacts. and mentorship for the next generations. They're not going to Florida solely for the weather. Seniors largely leave because it is in their financial interest to do so. Just today, WalletHub rated Rhode Island the 4th least affordable state to retire in. And we cannot blame seniors for leaving and doing what is best for their families, but we can enact pro-retiree policies to keep them here, similar to many other states, like not taxing their retirement income and providing greater estate tax exemptions. The outflow of our educated youth, businesses, and seniors has created serious budgetary constraints in our state. Yet our budget continues to balloon, now at $10 billion. That's approximately $10,000 for every man, woman, and child, and it doesn't even include your local property taxes. Even with our $10 billion budget, we are failing to adequately provide core government functions, like taking care of the kids in DCYF custody, honoring our veterans, and maintaining public infrastructure. The simple fact is that we fail to efficiently operate and monitor government spending. Perhaps most concerning is that Rhode Island faces a $200 million deficit. We're taking in $200 million less than we need to fund our $10 billion budget. Meanwhile, Massachusetts has a $1 billion surplus. We are facing this deficit during one of the greatest economic expansions our country has experienced. We should be having surpluses now, like Massachusetts. We must get our fiscal house in order because we are setting up government expenditures that will not be able to survive in an economic downturn. And there will be immense pain from drastic cuts in the event of a recession. Republicans have long called for a line-item veto to empower the governor to eliminate portions of the legislatively enacted budget. We've called for an independent Office of Inspector General to root out waste. And we've called for zero-based budgeting that requires every department to annually justify its expenditure, like your family does. These smart initiatives are a great start to stem the dramatic annual increases we see in our state budget. They will protect us from a recession and keep more money in your wallet. People want to live here if they can afford it. One reason is our environment. That is a social and economic treasure, which we must protect. Yet we've taken our eyes off important local environmental issues that we have the ability to measurably impact. We can protect our eroding shorelines. We need to repair our dams that are hazards to entire communities. We are not managing our forests that are primed for fires similar to the 1942 disaster. We can adequately fund our Department of Environmental Management and our parks, which we have gutted in recent years. And we can ensure our water quality, like cleaning the lead out of the pipes in our urban centers, which is poisoning our children, and dealing with the hazardous industrial waste that has been found in our water supplies from Cumberland to Charlestown. While we do have a beautiful environment, we must be able to enjoy it. And that includes being able to exercise our constitutional right to access our shoreline in this state. There's a lack of clarity where private property ends and the public shoreline begins, all over this state. And this has led to unnecessary conflict. Republicans will submit smart proposals that protect our citizens' constitutional right to access their shoreline while respecting private property. Now that it is 2020 and an election year is upon us, we must act to protect the sanctity of our elections. Right now, we allow Senate and House leadership to draw up our Senate and House legislative districts, benefiting those in power at the expense of our right to choose our representatives. It's called gerrymandering, and it is done to the extreme here. We fully support Common Cause's initiative for a citizens' commission to draw legislative districts, not legislators, which will vindicate our most fundamental right to vote in this republic. Our citizens also face significant privacy concerns in this modern era. Privacy is a cornerstone of a free society. However, right now, government agents do not need a warrant to access your internet search history. Republicans have and will continue to advance legislation to protect your digital privacy, including what you read on the internet from prying government eyes, absent a warrant signed by a judge. Tonight, we've laid out specific policy initiatives to solve some of the most pressing issues we face. Perhaps more important is how we together accomplish these goals and others in the months and years ahead. Many times we in Rhode Island believe there is little hope and our voices don't matter, that our path is written by others in rooms we can't access. I'm here to tell you there is nothing further from the truth, and that people get the government they demand in this country. The Rhode Island we know has an incredible revolutionary heritage, one of liberty, justice, free enterprise, and citizen activism. The Rhode Island we know can have a future of incredible opportunity, where every child can get a great education and has a bright future, where families and businesses can thrive, and where retirees live in financial security. This can be our future if we demand it. The choice is yours, Rhode Island. This is your home, and there is no place like it. If you too believe there is a better way, join us, demand it, fight for it, and we will all share in a bright future. Thank you, Rhode Island, and good night.
And that was House Minority Leader Blake Filippi delivering the Republican response to Governor Gina Raimondo's State of the State address. And if you're watching on WPRI.com, our coverage continues in just a moment. If you're watching only on TV, just log on to WPRI.com right now for live continuing coverage and analysis of the State of the State. We are also live on Facebook.
And please join us for Eyewitness News at 10 on Fox Providence and 11 right here on WPRI 12, and more on the State of the State, as well as breaking news on the Red Sox parting ways with manager Alex Cora. And now we continue our live in-depth coverage of the State of the State right here on WPRI.com and on Facebook Live. We just heard from Governor Gina Raimondo, her 2020 State of the State address. We're joined by Eyewitness News political analyst Joe Fleming. Joe, you've sat through a lot of these. Yes. We have together for a long time. Sometimes they sound similar, but this one was a little bit different.
Yes, it was a little bit different. I mean, the governor's not up for re-election, so she's term limited, so she can say what she wants, and she tries to get her proposals across. I think she really stressed two things tonight. The expand the real job initiative. It's a big thing that she wants. She believes if we expand that, it's going to help the economy of Rhode Island, and education. Two strong points that she had tonight that she has to try to push through the General Assembly.
And we actually have a soundbite from Governor Raimondo's speech specifically talking about education. Let's listen to that.
Every single one of us, every single Rhode Islander has a stake in this work. And I'd ask you all tonight to ask yourselves what you can do to support this work. And I'd ask you to do something else, all of us. I'd ask you to challenge yourselves to see beyond the borders of your own community, your own neighborhood, your own city, or your own town. Of course, we all want the best for our own kids. But we all also have a stake in the children in the next town, or all the way across the state. Schools in every community have to do better. And so tonight, I'm announcing an additional $30 million to support students and teachers in every community in our state.
She's talking about the $30 million here, Joe. We don't know how that's going to be distributed. Barrington might not get the same amount of money as, let's say, Woonsocket.
Right. I would think not, especially if it's going to be aimed towards people who have don't speak English very well. The thing is, though, that will be accepted very well by the General Assembly. They like to bring money back into their communities. So $30 million going to education is something I think a lot of legislators will support. The question is, how is it going to be distributed? Is it based on the number of kids in your community, or does each city and town get the same amount of money?
Because she talked about a few different things that $30 million that she wants it to do, between college prep courses, multilingual learners, mental health professionals in schools was a big one.
It was, and it got a lot of applause on that. The question is, though, all the things she's talking about, $30 million goes away pretty quick when you're talking about 39 cities and towns in the state of Rhode Island. So she has to really define where she wants to spend that money.
Yeah.
Buildings will be one of them, too.
No question. They've been doing a lot of repairs of the buildings now that with this bond that was passed in the last election. A lot of communities are going. I know Pawtucket's already done like 2 or 3 schools. So I think you're going to see that continuing. And I think as the schools get repaired and fixed up, they're going to be set up for the 21st century.
Any frustration, though, from the point of the taxpayer where you have, on a state level, passing money for more money for schools, then on local levels in towns, people raising taxes as well, or voting to raise more taxes.
And most of the money in the local levels going for the schools.
Yeah.
So if they see it coming from the state, it should not affect them locally, they would hope. But if they see the state giving more money and the towns giving more money, that's when the voters get upset in the local communities. They're saying again from both ways. But some city and towns, the local community supports the schools a lot more than the state does.
All right, Eyewitness News politics editor Ted Nesi and Target 12 investigator Steph Machado was following this State of the State address from the State House tonight. They join us now live. Hey, guys.
I was here as well, and I would say in some ways there were no surprises in this speech, relatively few. We have a governor in her 6th year. We know her policy agenda, as you guys were saying back in the studio, education, job training, her continued push for the gun bills, the line item veto. But I'm curious, you were sitting right up front. I saw you there. What did you find interesting about what got the biggest applause lines and what the reaction was from the lawmakers? We'll decide.
Yeah, there was a major standing ovation, Ted, when she talked about battling climate change. She said she wants to make Rhode Island 100% renewable by the end of the decade. How that's going to come about is obviously still to be seen, but a major standing ovation for that. Of course, when she talked about her education priorities, also a lot of applause for that when she mentioned expanding pre-K to about 700 more seats for 4-year-olds in Rhode Island. We saw, the Senate President and the Speaker standing up as well and joining in the applause. As we know, they don't always support every one of her initiatives, so it's interesting to
say
see
the least.
when they stand up and applaud and when they remain in their seats, as they did for the assault weapons bill, for example.
Yeah, and you, of course, you're our Providence City Hall reporter. You're up there, and I would say story number 1 in the city right now is the schools takeover, which did come up, from the conversations you have up there with council members, with the mayor, with residents and parents. What did you take away from what the governor had to say about the Providence schools takeover?
Well, first of all, since her last State of the State address, we have a new state education commissioner, and the state has taken over the Providence schools. So obviously that was something she was going to mention in the speech, and she did mention it in the speech. She said, it was unacceptable and that the schools need to improve. And she did, she made it a point to say that lessons that are learned in Providence with this state takeover will be applied statewide. Obviously, she wants to make it clear to folks in Rhode Island that it's not just all about Providence. She did not mention giving any particular more funding to Providence. She did, as we said, say $30 million statewide, but they have said that Providence, they did this financial analysis and said that, look, it looks like they're getting enough money, they just need to spend it better.
So, it was interesting to me, Steph, because I felt like part of it was you could feel the Gov getting into legacy mode, right? You can see, she's in her 6th year, in her 2nd term. We're not hearing about a lot of big new splashy initiatives so much as trying to solidify things she's already passed and keep them in place. Rhode Island Promise, the free tuition program, talking about her work on healthcare, trying to get more pre-K seats. But the other question, of course, is what we didn't hear tonight, which is there's a $200 million deficit. Didn't hear her talking a lot about the tough choices that will have to be made when that comes out on Thursday. What are you watching for when the budget comes out, the actual full budget text Thursday that maybe we didn't hear as much about tonight?
Yeah, we're going to look at whether there's any, new taxes or fees, for example, on employers who don't offer health insurance to their employees. That's been one that she's tried to do before, to add a tax to those employers. We're obviously going to be looking for a marijuana legalization proposal. There was no mention of marijuana in her State of the State speech, but we are expecting that to be in the budget proposal. So it's just sort of how will they fill that gap? How will they get some new revenues from various taxes and fees in order to pay for all the stuff she's proposing? All
right, well, Steph has much more, a full, thorough recap right now on WPRI.com that you can look at when this web show is over. Coming up, I'll be live with Commerce Secretary Stephen Pryor to ask him about some of the initiatives we heard tonight and how they're going to pay for them. But for now, I'll send it back to you.
All right, Ted and Steph, thanks so much. And really encourage you to check out Steph's article. She's like a walking encyclopedia of the Rhode Island budget. She can just recite all of it to you. But I want to touch on something they brought up, which is housing. And it's something that's kind of new for Governor Raimondo that we haven't seen in her past speeches, Joe.
Yeah, it seems to be the first time she's really stressing the housing tonight. I think the thing is she wants to put a bond up for housing. I think that's going to get a lot of support in the General Assembly because people are looking for affordable housing throughout the state of Rhode Island. So I would assume that's going to have a good chance to get on the ballot. And if it does, Rhode Islanders tend to support bonds very strongly in the state of Rhode Island. So if they can get it to the ballot, I really think that's going to have a good chance to pass.
Well, you listened to her at the beginning, so many jobs, 500,000 jobs, but a lot of those jobs are not paying enough for people to pay their rent.
For their own houses, and that's what she's talking about. This bond referendum, I think, would help those people get houses and buy houses, and hopefully she's talking about by better education, these people will get better jobs. So it's a whole cycle, and if she can get the cycle working, she believes it's going to help the state of Rhode Island greatly.
Let's listen to a part of the speech where she did talk about the housing crisis.
Our housing shortage threatens all of our economic progress. This year I propose a housing bond and, for the first time ever in Rhode Island, a dedicated funding stream to build more housing. Nearly every other state already has it. So let's do it, and let's get to work building more homes in Rhode Island.
Is it tough with towns and pushback locally?
I think in some towns it is, because some people don't mind new housing coming in, but when new housing comes in, that means the schools are going to be taxed more people are in the schools, city services are going to be taxed more. So that's where a lot of towns are a little skeptical.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons why you see pushback in some of these cities and towns in Rhode Island for a lot of new housing developments.
And one of the cures to all this is increasing business and jobs and bringing corporations in. Let's go back live to the State House now with politics editor Ted Nesi is with the Commerce Secretary Stephen Pryor. Ted?
Here we go. Mike, thank you. Commerce Secretary, thanks for being with us here.
My pleasure, Ted.
So I want to ask you about a couple of things we heard about tonight. Sure. You're known as one of the governor's most influential cabinet members.
Tallest.
Definitely tallest.
Members, yes.
I'll give you that one. Look, I was up here last year at the end of the negotiations on the budget. You folks were frustrated about some of the decision-making made around the job training program. We heard a lot about that tonight. I assume that wasn't an accident.
Well, the main reason is that it's essential that we have the connection between our workforce and the jobs we're creating. You know, as the governor emphasized, we're at an all-time high number of jobs. We broke the 500,000 job barrier, and we've stayed above it. We're at a 3.5% unemployment rate. Our economy is doing very well, but we need to ensure that Rhode Islanders are able to access these jobs. And the key to doing that is job training on the one hand and education on the other, which is why I think she really equally emphasized those two things. On the job training front, we've been appreciative of the General Assembly's generosity. They have enabled us to create the Real Jobs Rhode Island program and other programs, the Wavemaker Fellowship, the P-TECH program, but the signature program is Real Jobs. We do need to make sure that we create a sustainable way to ensure that Real Jobs can provide all the job connections through training that are possible. So it's really essential. We hear it all the time from employers that the limiting factor of their growth is the availability of a skilled and qualified workforce. So now let me also mention education, because equally the governor emphasized that. And from pre-K through 12, we have to ensure we have a strong system, but also that access to higher education that Rhode Island Promise enables.
The other thing that was interesting was housing. I don't think I've ever heard housing get as much of the spotlight as it did tonight. As the Commerce Secretary, when you think about economic development, why has that risen on the agenda for the administration?
Well, as our economy has strengthened, it's become clearer and clearer that workforce is important, and we need to make sure that we have housing that's accessible to, that's affordable for workers to ensure that we fuel the economy. It also is the case, as you analyze this problem of housing, Rhode Island is the only state in the entire Northeast that does not have a dedicated funding stream for housing production. So we need to fix that. That's what the governor is aiming at. And quite frankly, when you do build housing, this is a secondary point, but it's a very important point. That's construction. That means construction jobs. It further fuels the economy. So it's really important that we dedicate some energy towards and resources towards housing.
You know, always in the state, you hear lots of things people like the sound of. Let's have more education. Let's have more housing. Let's have more of this. Let's have more of that. But you're starting with a $200 million deficit. You know, are all our taxes going up? Where is the administration going to find the money to make good on these promises tonight?
The governor will propose a balanced budget. She has figured out the right mix of solutions to enable that budget to be balanced. It does cohere, it does work, and you'll see more on Thursday.
All right, not giving the game away just yet. Commerce Secretary Stephen Pryor, thank you. And coming up after this, I'll have two lawmakers, one from each side of the aisle, giving their reactions off the cuff to the governor's speech. We'll have them in a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Ted. So he said something right there. Obviously, if you're going to do affordable housing, you're building. I would think that the laborers union would be backing this plan.
I would definitely think so, Mike. It's going to be more jobs in the state of Rhode Island to build all these houses and developments. So, I mean, it's something the unions would definitely support, I would believe.
And of course, we did hear the GOP response right after the governor's speech specifically to housing. Let's listen to that.
We do have a housing crisis in this state, and it is directly related to Rhode Island's failure to attract capital investment. Right now, good, bad, or indifferent, we have laws on the books that allow for-profit developers to bypass local zoning in order to build dense developments, as long as a portion of that includes an affordable component. This is in nearly every town. That's on the books right now. The problem is that people do not want to invest in Rhode Island. If we fix the fundamentals of our economy, the housing crisis will be fixed by private investment responding to the pent-up demand. We do not need more taxpayer money in bonding. We need to nurture private investment.
Thoughts, Joe?
My thoughts are that they're talking two different ways. The Republicans want to go with private investments. The Democrats are talking about going with bonding. He's saying the economy has to improve. Well, unemployment's down very low in Rhode Island, 3.5%. I don't know how much better it's going to get.
But what happens if we have a recession, though?
That's the problem. I think that's something the Rhode Island lawmakers have to look at very carefully this year. If a recession comes along and we're still having a $200 million deficit, what's going to happen then? So, I mean, they got a lot of plates to balance this time. And I think the bonds for the housing is one thing they may go forward with.
Do you think it was interesting at the end, you know, Ted said that legacy talk that, that the governor's setting up, and she's saying, picture 20 years, picture 20 years. How important is it that she starts setting up kind of everything so that the next person that comes in, of course she's hoping, will carry that out?
Well, again, she still has 3 more years to be the governor of the state of Rhode Island now that we're 4-year terms. But I think she's looking long range. She knows a lot of these programs she wants to do takes a long time. When she first became governor the first year, I remember people criticizing her. Gee, the employment's still high, nothing's happening yet. It takes time to have these programs develop, and that's why she's starting right now to get them. So by the time she leaves, a lot of these programs will be in place in Rhode Island.
You want them in place because you don't want all your work to just go down the drain,
exactly.
right?
All right, so we heard a lot of applause when she was delivering her speech. What are lawmakers thinking? We're going to see it and hear from it over the next couple of days, but Ted Nesi is with Representative Brian Newberry and Ryan Pearson to get their reaction to the governor's speech tonight. Ted?
Yeah, Mike, I'm here with 2 veterans of Smith Hill. They've seen a number of states of the state addresses. They've seen a number of budgets, and that's Senator Ryan Pearson. And continuing to be a Republican state representative, no longer the House Minority Leader, Brian Newberry. I think he doesn't mind. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So I want to ask you guys first, just your top-level reactions to what you heard from the governor tonight. Senator Pearson, you first.
Yeah, sure. So I think what we really heard from the governor tonight is continuing to make the investments in improving our economy. So whether that be education, transportation, so many of the things, housing, that we need to do to keep Rhode Island's economy moving forward. I think she tried to lay out that agenda, and we're looking forward to working with her as we go through the session.
And you, Representative, what do you think from the other side of the aisle?
Look, it's easy to criticize, but I thought the speech fell flat. If you think about it, the details, what matters is the budget proposal, which we don't have tonight, and that's fine. But she talked about a lot of things. There were some applause lines they didn't really take. There's a lot of questions about where she's going to get the money to spend some of the stuff she wants to do. And until we actually see the budget document, which is not as fun to watch as a speech, we don't know. So I don't want to be critical for being critical's sake, but it was a speech. It was what it was.
What do you think? I'm curious if you guys heard something in there, first of all, that you think is going to be pretty easily rallied around among rank and file lawmakers, something that you're like, that's probably going to get some traction. What do you think on that?
So I think 2 things. First is continuing the education funding formula, which will not be a surprise coming from me. But
you've just finished a report on that, I believe.
We have. Yeah. So I think continuing to make sure that we're following that formula, which is what she talked about this evening, is really important. The second thing that I think has just been a hot button has been DCYF. So for years, there's been underfunding in DCYF, despite the legislature trying to make sure that the funding was sufficient. I think those 2 things are going to be things that we just see as off the table. They have to be done. We've got to make sure we get it done.
Anything you think the Republicans won't mind, might cast a vote for?
Well, actually, on the DCYF funding, I fully support that because that was our proposal to put more funding in last year's budget, which was shot down because it was a minority proposal on the floor, but now it's apparently going to be adopted by the governor. That's good. Car tax phase out. She wants to continue that. That was also our idea before 2016. And I'm not being critical. That's great. If we propose ideas and Democrats adopt them, I'm all for it. I also think her talk about a housing bond is interesting. One of the things I find about Democratic politics in general is they're very good at identifying problems. It's the solutions they take issue with. We have a housing crisis in the state. Housing is way too expensive. Throwing money at it isn't the issue. Reducing the cost of building it is the question. So I want to see details. It goes back to what I said earlier. We need to see the details in the proposal and how it's going to come out.
Well, I'm curious what you think on that. You're a banker by day, Senator Pearson.
Yep.
I mean, is just throwing money at the housing problem not the right answer?
So I don't think that's everything, right? And so I think and I know the Senate presidents created the Housing Commission as well. I think certainly affordable housing is important, but there are so many other things. I hear from builders and contractors that are constituents of mine all the time about so many local regulations and land use sizes and zoning. There's so much more we can do on housing. So no, it's not just money, but it is a key part of getting us going forward.
I agree. That's my point. There's a lot more to it.
All right, finally, you're both lawmakers who actually read the budget, unlike maybe a few of your colleagues up here. We won't name any names. So what did you not hear about tonight that you're going to flip right to or look for when the actual budget proposal from the governor, the full thing, comes out on Thursday?
Yeah, so I think it's how we pay for a lot of things that we talked about tonight. And so we know that the governor started the year with a deficit that she had to close. She's proposed a lot of new initiatives and new spending here, and that always becomes the challenge, particularly on the education front. There's a lot of money there that we need to be worrying about, and so how she paid for pre-K. Really, we didn't pay for it last year. So there are so many things that we need to do and look at in the details, and so this is where the sausage making happens.
Actually, I don't disagree, because sometimes we actually agree on up here. I turned to my CMate about 10 minutes into the speech, and I said, from what she's saying, this sounds like a fairly conservative speech so far. It changed, but she was talking about no broad-based tax increases, keeping the car tax phase out in, all things that I think are great ideas. And then she started talking about maintaining the Rhode Island promise, the CCRI funding, the housing bond, this, that, and the other thing. And I don't know where the money's coming from, but I don't want to be too critical because the details will be in the budget. This is supposed to rally people. That's the purpose of tonight. Let's see the actual details, because that's what the legislature does. We look at the details.
That's right. Well, Al, right, as I said, we have a Democratic senator here, a Republican representative, but I can tell you folks, bipartisanship is not dead, because I'm told that the Senate Democrats allowed Rep. Newberry to use the Senate side bathroom. Very unusual to allow crossing. So there is still some getting along up here on Smith Hill. So thank you both for joining us and providing your thoughts. We'll check back in with you as the budget process continues. And I'll sign off from the State House. For Ted Nesi, back to you.
And it shows we're making progress along the way, that the Democrats and the Republicans
just brings
are getting
everybody together, doesn't it?
So really, Joe, this is the thing. So tonight is kind of the party where she says certain things. Now she has to be able to sell it.
Right, she has to sell it.
That starts Thursday.
No question. The budget will be the first thing as far as selling it. How is she going to pay for these programs? And where is the new revenue going to come from? For example, if she puts marijuana in there and she expects X number of dollars for marijuana, and the General Assembly decides we're not going to do that. Now the General Assembly has to find that money to take its place. So it puts them in a very difficult position. So we're going to see where this money is going to come from and how she's going to have this revenue to pay for all these programs.
It's interesting you mentioned that too, because as we said with the sports betting, I wonder if they'll be on more high alert this year, thinking we can't rely on something that we thought would be a surefire.
Well, especially, I totally agree with that. They're going to be very conservative in their estimates this year on what the revenue is going to bring in. And the marijuana, both the Speaker and the Senate President said that's not going to happen this year. So if she puts that in the budget, say it's going to bring $25 million or more in, and they don't pass it, they got to find that $25 million somewhere or cut programs.
Right.
Her critics have, I'm sorry, Shannon. Her critics have long said that we have a spending problem, but we've heard that with this governor, the past governor, and past legislative sessions.
We hear that all the time. We hear that nationally. It's a spending problem. There's been very few governors who have really cut back because people don't want to see their own programs cut back. Everybody wants government cut back, but when it affects them personally, no, don't cut that one. And that's one of the problems they have.
And the thing the Republicans and Democrats agreed on tonight is that we need to be like Massachusetts. It seems like both of them said that.
And the one thing in the two speeches, the governor and a minority leader both agreed on a line item veto. The problem is the rest of the General Assembly is not going to support that.
Right. All right, Joe, thank you very much. Joe's going to be back tomorrow morning on Eyewitness this morning, starting at 4:30 with analysis. Thank you very much for joining us for this special presentation of the State of the State. Our in-depth coverage continues later on tonight on Eyewitness News at 10 on Fox Providence and 11 on WPRI 12.